Hello everyone, how are you? Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the signs or how can you tell if a person is a xennial. There are some things that for sure we do or we do that will evidence that we belong to that generation. So let's get started with the list. The first thing that many of us still do, and I do it myself, is that we have a Hotmail account. Yes, we were the first ones that we were able to get actually not only a Hotmail account, but these email accounts, most of them have our complete name. We were able to put the first and last name without adding numbers or symbols or characters or anything like that. So this is the first telltale that will show you or will probably let you know that we're a xennial. Sign number 2. I'm looking to the side because I have a list over here, so please don't mind me turning around every once in a while. But for the second sign, we usually prefer to read books. Millennials are very into tablets and into Kindles and audiobooks, but there's something about the smell of a book and going into a bookstore and getting a bunch of books, and that first time that you open the pages and you start reading that book, that feeling is amazing. And most of us xennials, we have a huge collection of books. For the third sign, we still have and we still use our CDs. I remember I got my first CD when I was in high school, and it was an Alanis Morissette CD. And we started our collection. We will go into stores and we will look into the different CDs. And I still have my case with a bunch of CDs. I actually have 2 cases. And we still have stereos, and we still have stereos at home and stereos in our cars in which we can use our CDs. The fourth sign is many of us still don't trust the internet. The internet, when the internet started to grow and show up in the world, it was something that it was very mysterious. We didn't understand much, and we started to get familiar with the internet and browsing into the internet. But there was a certain mystery or a certain hesitation to trust the internet. The information in the internet, we didn't know if it was trustworthy, and still many people from our generation are very hesitant to trust 100% the information that you can find there. Right now you find everything and anything about everything and about anyone. But at that time, it was more limited, and information started to show up. But still, at that time, the main sources of information were the books. So we will go into libraries and we will search in books and we will search in newspapers and a bunch of sources. And the internet was just one of those sources, but it was not the main one. It was very mysterious. I think that's the word, because it was something unknown, it was something new. So we were very cautious about it. The fifth sign that we might be xennials is that even though we have the resources, we have the cell phones, we have our tablets, we have our laptops, we have a lot of applications in which we can have a bunch of documentation, we have clouds, and many sources. Many people from our generation and even from a generation before us, they don't trust just having these applications or these devices. They will print everything, even if invoices are right now digital, and you get emails with your invoices, and you get confirmations from the banks from transactions for anything. People will still print this information. Basically, we print out a bunch of stuff. Number six, we don't depend on technology. We grew up without technology. We grew up playing in the streets. We grew up without video games. And I got my first cell phone when I was working for the first time, and it was a huge deal. Now you see kids in elementary school and even younger kids with cell phones, but we learned to live without them. We learned to just grab the phone and through the landline call our friends, and we will talk to their parents and say hi to their parents and tell them a little bit about what was going on before we will talk to our friends. And we will coordinate play dates. We will go to play outside or to another house, and we learn how to do things the long or the complicated way. So we learned to live without technology. When technology arrived and we started to use the technology, yes, technology is amazing. It makes things very easy, but we know how to do things without them. Many new generations, or the newest generations, for them is a whole chaos, and they get into a bunch of conflict when they don't have their technology, when they don't have their phones, or they don't have a battery in their phones, or I don't know, they cannot access a specific application, they don't have data in their phones, they don't know how to react when they don't have it. And for us it's very different, because we know the before and the after, so we know how to deal with it. For the seventh sign, we tend to not follow trends. We've seen a lot of trends. We've seen the 80s, we've seen the crazy hairs, the different trends on clothing, on makeup, on music. And we went through the 90s and then the 2000s. And if there's a trend that everyone is traveling to a specific location, we will not just go there because it's the thing to do. We will see if we really want to do it or not. And we will usually do whatever our heart or our instinct tells us. And if it's something that goes against the trend, we don't give an F about it. We will just do it. Number 8, we tend to build or to stay for a very long time in a job. Xennials need that security or that certainty of balance in a work environment. So whenever we find a place that we like, that we are doing what we like, we will stay in that place, and we usually will remain in that position for a long time. We will escalate in positions, not necessarily we will stay doing the same thing, but we will stay in the same company for a long time. Number 9, for the 9 sign that we are a xennial is a dress code, usually related to the last item or the last sign. We also are very used to dress code, and whenever we go to a job interview or certain meetings or certain places that we are visiting, we are used to follow certain dress code, and we do think a bit more about that than other generations. I'm not saying that newer generations don't care how they dress, but they seem to be a little more free about their dressing choices, and they don't stress that much. Newer generations just go with the flow, and for us that was something that was implanted or that was taught to us, to think a little bit more about what is the image that we are trying to portray to the rest of the world. I guess that we are a little bit more conscious about what people think about us and how we look, or what image we are showing the rest of the world. Newer generations they have forgotten about that, and they are more free, and they really do what they really want to do. So I think that that's a positive thing about them, because they don't stress that much about an appearance. An appearance is not going to give you the job. It's your skills, it's how you handle the interview that it's going to give you a job. And the last sign, number 10, is that we have a different concept of vintage. For younger generations, vintage is a telephone that for me was something that I used. I remember, for me, the best example is this movie from in which I think that it's Jane Fonda and Jennifer Lopez.
What do you do for fun?
I love watching really old movies. They're my favorite.
Really? Really? Which ones?
Well, Grease and Grease 2. Benji. I love Benji. Free Willy. Legally Blonde. A Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
Younger generations consider whatever happened in the 90s or sometimes in the 80s like something really old, and for us it's not old. It was our childhood. Yes, it was a while ago, but we used those things, we saw those things. So for us, vintage or old is something that it's even from a past century, from the 1800s, not something that was from our generation. So, well, those are the 10 signs that I think that will tell people that we might be xennial or that we might be old. I hope that we are not that old, but well, comment below what you think about them, if you think that there's other signs, or if you have any behaviors or you do things that you consider that are part of the xennial culture. If you have any questions about what's a xennial or any videos that you want to see in the future, please comment below as well. And hopefully you like this video. And if you haven't, please also subscribe, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.